Oh, beautiful, lovely game as always. My name is Jones. Today I want to talk about smoke mistakes. I see this way too much happening, either when I coach, when I view VODs, when I play with friends, or in general. You have probably played against someone to do this, with someone to do this. Maybe you're doing it without noticing. So I want to talk about smoke mistakes. These are huge mistakes that, one, you can exploit. If you see that the enemy team does that, you can exploit it. And two, if you ever play smokes or you're helping somebody learn how to play smokes, you can hopefully help them by telling them these fundamentals. I'm going to show both an offensive example of Viper, and I'm also going to show a general example with the huge mistake. That's going to be the very first thing, because that's what I want to get across, where people give so much space and give the enemy team so many opportunities, and also limits your own opportunity as defenders when they use their smoke wrong. If you like this type of content, bro, a like on the video helps greatly against the algorithm. Commenting, sharing the video around, and of course subscribing to the channel with that bell on if you are interested in this type of content. Thank you guys for the amazing support. Discord and Twitter and Twitch link down in the description. Besides that, hope you have a lovely day, and yeah, enjoy the video. Okay, so let's talk about defensive side smokes. This is gonna kind of transition into offensive smokes as well, but we'll start with defensive smoke mistakes. And these are like the most common mistakes that I see being made. And again, the issue with it is that a lot of people don't think about it. They just kind of they drop a smoke approximately where they want it, and then it's fine, right? They don't think about like the very small details of how it's placed, which is a big issue. And two, like, especially in lower elos like gold and plat, you don't a lot of time get punished for it. So, you know, you don't get punished for the bad smoke mistakes, then you don't learn them. And as a defender, this is kind of like the example, right? That as a defender, you'll see like, oh, you know, the enemy team is going to come through this A choke here. So someone with a smoke drops a smoke like this. And the issue with it is that you can see how much it overlaps. You're giving the opposing side a lot of space to work with here. And again, the thought being, you know, it doesn't really matter that I'm giving them a lot of space here, because when they walk through the smoke, they're still at a disadvantage. But of course, as you can see, when I drop it like this, I'm giving a lot of space from the side. So an attacker can go through the side here and then only have to fight this side now, right? And again, if he has smokes himself, right, then he could smoke, right? And then he could enter here, which, you know, the defending side wouldn't notice. On top of that, of course, it allows somebody like a Phoenix, someone else with a flashbang, to flash, you know, from here and swing the flash that would hit, in this case, would like hit out here, flashing whoever is defending this angle. And if it was in the smoke, if it was inside here, right, if you didn't give as much space, the Phoenix would have to flash from this wall and could not blind way out here on A, right? So giving that amount of space is really bad as a defender. And you're also limiting yourself as a defender to go on the offensive. If I am a defender, I'm smoking correctly, right? Which would be something like this, right? I smoke here, and you can see how I'm buying a lot of the space, right? They have to leave their cover if they want to go out to the side and peek all the angles. On top of that, as an attacker now, I can do the same thing. If I want to claim this smoke, right, I can go out here, right? Potentially spamming that one first. I can go out here and I can take that fight while this entire right side is covered from me. So for example, you know, you can use it to, for example, kill an upper. And once again, also buying me a lot of space. I can get really far up here. Notice how far I can flash. If you look at the minimap, look at how far I can flash here to take down an upper, right? So you are both, you know, giving the offensive team a huge advantage in how they push you, and on top of that, you are limiting your capabilities to play with your own smokes as a part of the defending team. So smoking in your choke points, make sure you don't give too much space. And if you see an enemy giving you a lot of space, remember that you can abuse that as somebody from the offensive team. If you want to go aggressive, you can use this to kind of smoke here and then just go through here, and then you're ready to take your fight. Let's look at a couple, at least a common Viper mistakes that's being made with how people use the Viper wall and how you can abuse that. Okay, so let's take a look at how a lot of people wall here when they want to push in on A. And once again, this is about making sure you don't give too much space. So a lot of people, when they smoke, when they drop a wall here on A, what they'll do, they'll drop a wall something like this, right? And this is kind of fine, right? Because it blocks my left side, so I can kind of walk in here, only focusing on this right side, right? I can molly this, and, you know, I get a lot of space here. right, that I can play with, right? I can go up here, right? I can take my fights, right? Drop a smoke here even if I want to, right? It's all pretty great. The issue is right here, right? There's this huge gap here that you're giving the enemy. And this is kind of like the previous where you give them space with your smoke. The point of the wall is, one, to block LOS, right? So they can't easily spam you. But also, two, the other point is to make sure that they can't really go here, right? Because they'll take, especially with Viper, they'll take that Viper damage, right? They'll take the initial damage if you walk through her wall, which is what makes her wall so great. But majority of the time, it's just because you want to duck that LOS. So when you drop it like this, and I've done this before, I've actually done this when I done my unrated to Immortal video series. But you can actually wait here. A lot of time it'll be like a little bit closer, like it'll be here. You can still stand here and either flash your way out, wait for it to go down, or just like walk through, and then you can just spray down the enemy team because they think it's safe. If you end up with a bad wall like this on offense, what you want to do, or defense for that matter, is when you're kind of pushing here on offense, you want to go and then you want to just like spam that corner. So even if you can't see it, you kind of just want to spam that corner that they're most likely going to be playing at, just to be sure if you fuck up the wall. But ideally, right, you don't fuck up the wall. Ideally, you place the wall correctly, and it's super simple on this map specifically. I'll show this map. It's super simple because all you need to remember is like this kind of looks like poison canisters, right? At least I think it does, right? So you kind of just take the edge of this big box or on top of this canister, and then drop the wall like this. And it's so much better because you can see now there isn't much of there is no gap here, and I'm still blocking this entire left side. Now again, this does limit the fact that when I go through here, there can be somebody at this corner. 100%. That's why you would normally have to walk up here, and if you absolutely want to, then you can drop some mollies. There, if you drop it so it attacks this part of the wall, if your smokes go here, so you block this part, then fine, then you can molly like here, you can just bounce it like that, and it will molly the entire area, so nobody can stand there, and you can push safely. If not, then you will have to try to start clearing it. But making sure, right, the good thing here is, of course, that you still get this part of the map. You can push from two different sides because the wall doesn't hinder you, right? When you claim this space and when you block off this space here for the enemy team, you're also blocking it off for your team, because while the enemy team can't push through here if you hold it, the same goes for you. You can't push through here if they're holding it, right? So it's a blessing and a curse. I personally really like this type of wall instead. Yes, there can be enemies here, but that way you can fight your way through, and you can have multiple bodies on the side. You can flash your way through, and you can actually push from two different angles without still, right? The scary thing with pushing this left side is that there's this angle, and when you're peeking here, you also have to kind of be vulnerable for this side. Pushing up this wall here protects you from this side and allows you to kind of go and take these kind of fights and claim the site. So you want to make sure that your walls and smokes are properly positioned when it comes to everything. From the choke points themselves, make sure you don't give too much space. And also remember, when you're putting up your walls, that you are sometimes leaving gaps, and those gaps can be used by the enemy. And thirdly, your smokes can affect your team. You want to smoke where the enemy team is going to be, where they're going to defend, so you smoke the enemy team. You don't want to smoke your own team to enter, right? I've seen too many times somebody that's on offensive and they want to push and they drop a smoke like this, because then they can push up here. But the issue is, like, we can push to here, but we can't push any further, because if we go through the smoke, right, I die now, right? Because there's so many angles, right? I don't have time I can't play this corner here and start clearing out stuff. Put up my utility, drop it there. Well, sorry, drop it here, right? See, okay, nobody pushed there, right? Ideally, have a smoke canister, you know, way up here instead. Not there. Okay, you get what I mean, right? Having a smoke canister up here so you can block off that, right? You can't clear stuff with a rifle if you smoke your own team. So you want to smoke where you think the enemy team is going to be. In this case, I smoke here so they can't be playing this left side on me, right? If I'm really paranoid, right, I'll molly it. And then I can start, like, pushing in on side and slowly but sure, like, playing with good positioning here and clearing these angles for myself, right? Once again, instead of being forced to kind of run through the smoke and then walk out of the smoke here where I have no cover, no positioning, I'm peeking 11 angles at the same time, I'm just gonna end up getting gunned down. So that is your smoke basics. This is really, like, huge mistakes that a lot of people don't think about. You don't want to smoke your own team off and give the enemy team space, right, where they can use your smokes against you. You want to make sure that if you're claiming space, that you are claiming space for your team, limiting the amount of space that the enemy team has on the map. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I had to cut myself off a little bit short there before I started rambling even more, but I hope that this video helped you. It was interesting. If it was, liking, commenting, sharing it around. What is your thought? What is your common smoke mistake? Do you see this a lot? Have you exploited these smoke mistakes before? What do you think about this topic? I would love to hear that in the comment section. Of course, liking and subscribing is greatly appreciated. If you like this type of content, I hope you have a lovely day. Please take care, stay positive. I love you guys very much. Remember to tell somebody that you love them. Okay, and I'll catch you in the next one.